So if you are doing your practical legal training, aka your PLT, and you are about to start the oral assessments, here's everything that you would need to know about them. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Lauren. I'm a 24-year-old lawyer from Melbourne who went from failing 8 classes in law school, getting 3 HCs in the last semester, and now I'm a lawyer. So just keep in mind, when I did my PLT, I did it at Leo Cusson, so all the information that I am sharing in this video right now is based off my experience at Leo Cusson. I'm not too sure about other providers like College of Law and how they do it. So first of all, I loved how the oral assessments are pretty much reflect on the things that you will do when you work in a law firm. So the oral assessments were like client interviews, negotiations, mediation, court hearings, basically things you would come across when you work in a law firm. But of course, there are going to be times when actually in all the assessments you may feel like you'll be put in the spot, because these oral assessments isn't something that you can have a script where you're gonna memorize word by word or you're gonna read word by word. Like, you cannot have a full-blown script prepared. The best you can prepare are the notes and, reviewing the content you learned for the week and let it flow from there. Because you know what, when in real life, when you do client interviews, negotiations, mediations, court hearings, you're not going to be following a script. And I know that part sounds a little bit scary. The thing that brought me comfort when doing these assessments, because these were the things that made me feel the most nervous for in the PLT, the most comfort that I got is that it is your safe space to get feedback, make those mistakes that you will then implement when you actually work at a law firm in real life. So with the oral assessment, so when you do your PLT at Leo Cusson, it goes through a whole bunch of modules week by week by week, and then towards the end of the module, that is when you would do that oral assessment. So that oral assessment, whether it's a mediation, negotiation, client interview, it would be based off the modules that you have just been learning. So there wouldn't be anything completely new that you would come across in that assessment. Another thing as well is that I know that I was worried that I was going to remember everything, like all the facts of law, all the legislation. For example, in the client interview, I did a family law client interview. Like, I did not know, I knew the basics of family law, but I didn't know back to front. So when I was doing that client interview assessment, the one that was assessing me saying that, oh yeah, like some of the laws that you were saying weren't 100% correct, but we're not marking you based on what you know about the law. We're marking you based on your client interview skills. So that's another part to remember as well, that the oral assessments, like those real life applications that you're doing, they are grading you and marking you based on your actual verbal skills as opposed to, the knowledge. And like, of course, it would help to know your stuff, to know the knowledge, so you know what you're talking about, because obviously if you don't know your stuff,